I think I'm here to discuss a little bit about, I was asked to discuss a little bit about our visa system or visa categories within the Bureau of Immigration. But I don't like to take up too much time so that we can have more time later for a more engaging discussion through question and answers. Anyway, to keep it short, we can look. Our Philippine Bureau of Immigration, we are governed by our immigration law, Philippine immigration law, which is quite old. It's Commonwealth Act 613. It is a 1940 law. And within that law, we have just three general types of visas. A visa, I'm sure you're all aware, it's just an endorsement made on travel document, which, just to make it simple, it allows you to, it dictates and allows the activity that a foreigner can do in the country. It's also what is needed for a foreigner to enter the Philippines. So as we all know, Koreans are generally visa-free. You can enter the Philippines without need of getting the temporary visitor visa before the Philippine embassy or consulate. So that's no longer needed. You can be allowed to enter the Philippines and be admitted as a temporary visitor, provided that you have a valid passport, two-way ticket, and you're not in our derogatory record. So there's no record against you in our computer system. Our three general types of visas are the non-immigrant visa, the immigrant visa, and the special non-immigrant visa. Those are just the three types of visas that we have. In the non-immigrant visa, the most common there is what we call the temporary visitor visa. We can also refer to this as the default type of visa because I think 95 to 98 or even as high as 99% of our foreigners going to the Philippines enter on a temporary visitor visa. Even if you leave the Philippines and you come back, if you do not secure the necessary documentation such as the special return certificate or the re-entry permit, when you come back, you will be admitted under a temporary visitor visa. So we can say that there's a default type of visa. So the temporary visitor visa allows you to do only three types of activities if that is your visa. It is for business, pleasure, or health. So those are the only things that you can do if that is your visa: business, pleasure, or health. There might be some misunderstanding that the term business would allow you to be engaging in work. Please do not misinterpret that. It only, business means, I guess it's the same also for in your country. It just allows you to enter on a temporary capacity for business purpose, like business meetings, preparatory to want to perhaps invest here later on or be employed here, but it does not allow you to immediately start to be employed or start to work. Because if you will be working or be employed, you need to secure a conversion of your temporary visitor visa to the appropriate type of visa. And the most popular employment visa would be the Section 9G. That's the pre-arranged employment visa, but more commonly known perhaps as the working visa. So just make sure that if you will be employed, you will get the appropriate type of visa. Although it's more common, it's the employment visa. There are still other types of visa where you can get that would allow you to work. Because of our limited time, I'll just be talking about some specific general types. So what do you do also if you want to, because the conversion of the visa takes some time to process. If you immediately want to work, we have a remedy. You can avail of some a remedy which is was also made available are the permits. It's either the special work permit or the provisional work permit. It can be secured in perhaps in as short as an entire day. If perhaps you can wait for it and make sure, try to request that it be approved within the day, or within to a maximum of a week. Usually a processing time can be 1 day to a week for the permits. Once you get the permit, it allows you to work. Your visa category is not converted. Your visa remains as a temporary visitor visa, but with the special permit, work permit, or the provisional one, that already allows you to start to work, even while you're waiting for the actual conversion from tourist to the working visa. Another type of visa is the, if we can go back, immigrant visa. For the immigrant visa, the most common would be the quota immigrant visa, and the one that is because of a marriage to Filipino, the marriage visa, section 13A. If you have the immigrant visa, that presupposes that you're an immigrant here and you can work. You don't need to get a separate employment visa that allows you to work. It's a much better category in the sense that with the temporary visitor visa, the employment visa under Section 9G, well, any type of employment visa which is in the nature of a non-immigrant visa only allows you to be employed in that particular company or employer and in that particular position that was given to you or that was allowed by the Bureau of Immigration. Please take note of that. It's very limited for that specific company and for that specific position. You cannot do multiple employments or multiple positions unless if you are given a special permission by the Bureau and if you apply for it first. With the immigrant visa, if you already have the immigrant visa, whether it's quota or the marriage visa, which are the most common, that allows you to work even multiple employments, even multiple positions. The only limitation is employment in positions or companies or business that are limited for Filipinos under the Philippine Constitution. Because under our Constitution, there are some types of sectors that are limited for Filipinos, such as mass media, in the media field, in the exploration of natural resources. Those are limited for Filipinos. So that's the only limitation for immigrants. And then for non-immigrants, special non-immigrant visas, this is differentiated from the non-immigrant visa in the term, in the sense of, usually the differentiation is the purpose and the period. Because for the non-immigrant visa, under Section 9, the employment visa, you cannot keep on, for example, if you're a tourist, you cannot keep on renewing your tourist visa indefinitely. For the employment visa, you cannot keep on renewing your employment visa indefinitely. 10 years, 20 years, you cannot be able to keep on just renewing that. That will be already circumventing the nature of the non-immigrant visa to an immigrant visa. For the special non-immigrant visa, although the visa is given for that particular purpose, under the Immigration Act, the special non-immigrant visa is given either for public interest or public policy category. So the refugees are given a 47A2 visa, that's a special non-immigrant visa. And then some companies who also get the foreigners to work there some also get the 47A2 visa if they are within the special economic zones. For example, they get the special non-immigrant visa. There are also special laws which give special non-immigrant status to foreigners, such as again, we can deal on just the most popular one to save on time, which is the retiree visa under the Philippine Retirement Authority. So the retirement visa is a special non-immigrant visa, meaning once you get that, the duration is indefinite status. What does indefinite mean? It means that as long as the deposit requirement or the investment requirement under the rules of the Philippine Retirement Authority is maintained, you get to enjoy that visa. So it's indefinite because if you pull it out, your retiree visa is no longer, would have to be removed also. So it's dependent on maintaining that requirement, whether it's an investment or a deposit with the Philippine Retirement Authority accredited banks. Can you work on a special non-immigrant visa, Philippine Retirement Authority or retiree visa? Retiree visa, can you work? The answer is provided you get the alien employment permit from the Labor Department. I think the flyers and the information dissemination of the Philippine Retirement Authority is also very clear on that, because the primary purpose of that special non-immigrant visa is to retire here. So it's not really an employment visa, but we allow the retiree to still engage in work if he's able to find employment here or business here, provided that the alien employment permit is secured from the Labor Department. What is the purpose for securing the alien employment permit? Because in our labor code, there is a provision there under Section 40 that says that foreigners can only be allowed to be employed here if there is no Filipino who is ready, willing, and able to undertake that position or employment. So it is the Labor Department who determines whether or not there is a Filipino, there are Filipinos who are ready, willing, and able to do that job. So it's like that's why the Labor Department does the labor market test. Those are the three general types of visas. If you're compliant with that, or you make sure that any activity that you do within the Philippines is covered or allowed by your current visa, then there is really no problem with the Philippine Bureau of Immigration. The problem comes with there are activities done by the foreigner that is not allowed under the current type of visa. Usually, the Bureau of Immigration definitely would not be able to know about that. And the problem comes in if there is a complaint filed against a foreigner, especially if there is an evidence presented that the foreigner, for example, is employed, doing employment, engaging in gainful activity, but his visa is a tourist visa or a temporary visitor visa. Then, of course, we have to act on it. The legal division with regard to visa matters are the ones that handle or process applications for visas other than a temporary visitor visa. So converted visas, whether you convert for an employment visa or a quota visa or an immigrant visa by marriage, that usually is processed through the legal division. The legal division also comes into play when there is a complaint for deportation. When there is a complaint for deportation, the legal division acts like a prosecutor in a criminal case. So the prosecutor in a criminal case receives the complaint, sends out the notice for the respondent to submit his answer or defense, and will hear or conduct that so-called preliminary investigation phase. And once all the position papers or the evidence are submitted by the complainant and the respondent, the special prosecutors of the legal division will evaluate and determine if there is probable cause to charge the foreigner for an immigration violation. So that's one way where a deportation case might start. Another way for a deportation case to start is if a foreigner was arrested by the Bureau of Immigration agents. A foreigner may be arrested by the Bureau of Immigration agents perhaps in three ways. One is because he was issued a mission order by the Commissioner of Immigration. I think that can be discussed further by our colleague, my colleague here, Chief GMAN from the Intelligence Division. Another way is if there is a warrant of deportation that was issued against you by the Commissioner of Immigration. A warrant of deportation presupposes that there is already a final deportation order. That means all the legal remedies have been exhausted and there is already a final deportation order. The next step for the BI to do is to just implement the deportation. So we issue a warrant of deportation to arrest and deport. It's just that, for that purpose, to arrest you so that we will be eventually be deporting you. And the last one, the last instance that you may be arrested is whether you were intercepted at the airport for having fraudulent documents. I think that's automatic. That will be brought to our legal division for the conduct of what we would call inquest proceedings. An inquest proceeding is a hearing conducted by the special prosecutor to determine if that foreigner who was apprehended or caught was caught in the act of committing a violation of immigration law. So he will just determine if indeed, in our example, there is a violation by using a fraudulent passport, for example, tampered passport. If the answer is yes, then there is probable cause, then the special prosecutor will charge that foreigner, and the detention continues until there is a deportation order or he is deported. I guess another one that we can discuss is foreigners who are being turned over by law enforcement agencies, different law enforcement agencies, such as the police, the NBI. Sometimes they turn over to us foreigners whom they have arrested because of their lawful operations, and after they have perhaps filed the appropriate criminal charges before the public prosecutors, they also bring the foreigner to the Bureau of Immigration to determine if there is also a violation for immigration violations. So that's, I guess, that's for now. That's what I can share. And if you have any more clarifications, maybe later, I should be glad to answer those. So I'd like to turn over the floor to my colleague, but perhaps before that.
Thank you. 제가 잠깐 이제 좀 안내를 잠깐 중간에 말씀 좀 드릴게요. 지금 이제 설명하신 내용은 뭐 이해하실 분은 이해하시겠지만 또 모르실 분은 모르실 거고요. 그리고 저 내용을 뭐 굳이 지금 우리 모든 교민들이 다 알아야 될 내용은 사실 아닌 거라고 생각이 됩니다. 먼저 지금 다들 사실 우리가 사실 한 달 정도 정말 어려운 시기를 거쳤는데 그 표정이 얼굴에 다 나타나 계세요. 다들 너무 힘들어가지고 지금 막 인상 수술 이렇게 계셔서 좀 그러지 않으셨으면 좋겠고요. 그전에 먼저 제가 잠깐 좀 아까 소개가 안 된 것 같습니다. 소개를 드릴 분은 우리 교문고 총영사님 다시 한번 우리 그래서 아까 인사 서로 이렇게 안 한 것 같아요. 박수로 한번 감사합니다. 이번 일에 사실 지금까지 법무부 영사님이 필리핀에 지금 몇 분 계시냐면 2분 계세요. 근데 이제 법무부 영사님들이 특징이 있어요. 이번에 이런 일이 생기니까 사람들이 다 그러시더라고요. 법무부 영사님 왜 안 나오고 막 가냐고. 근데 제가 여기를 대사관, 이민청을 거의 그 몇 주간 계속 왔다 갔다 했거든요. 법무부 영사님들 방에 가보고 놀랬습니다. 7시 달에 가는데 거의 소리가 쌓여 있으면 이게 안 끝나면 집을 못 가내야 되면 남을 못 시킨다느냐. 직접 해야 된다느냐. 그래서 이제 그 고생하시는 우리 양성관 영사님 옆에 계십니다. 인사 따르고 잠깐 지금 그 말씀하신 분은 이민청에 있는 그 내가 칙입니다. 그래서 이분이 담당하는 건 이제 본인이 얘기를 했지만 대부분의 이민청에서 되는 모든 법률적인 부분을 최종 판단을 하는 사람입니다. 그래서 저분이 판단해서 커미셔너에게 올리면 커미셔너가 사인이 되면 진행이 되는 겁니다. 즉, 되게 이제 한국인 관련돼서 이번에 사건에도 보면 이제 어려움을 겪으셨던 분들 그리고 한국인 관련된 어떤 제보가 들어와서 문제가 됐던 모든 일들은 법적인 기준을 얼마큼이 오버가 되느냐 또는 얼마큼 위반이 되느냐를 판단하는 부서의 제일 책임자인데 개인적으로 저는 오랜 시간을 제가 봐왔는데 굉장히 그 원칙에 맞춰서 진행을 합니다. 근데 지금 여러분들 무슨 궁금해 하시는지 잘 알아요. 그래서 그런 부분을 조금 이따가 질문을 할 때 또 같이 제가 이렇게 전달을 하도록 하고요. 그 지금 그 설명했던 이민국 그 법률에 대해서 그 비자의 종류에 대해서 따로 지금 말씀 안 드려도 괜찮으시겠죠? 네, 이 부분은 이제 정리를 해서 일단 있는 내용을 정리해서 교민들이 필요한 내용을 좀 정리해가지고 책자로 만드는데 교민의 입장에서 만들 수 있도록 다시 노력을 하겠습니다. 그럼 그 부분은 일단 그렇게 오늘은 진행을 하고요. 다음에 지금 이제 말씀하실 분은 저분이 사실 그 인텔리전트 7입니다. 여러분들 이렇게 다녔던 그 책임자입니다. 사실 2주 전에 저 대사관제에서 대사님과 저희 그 이민청장 그리고 저분들 양쪽으로 대사님 옆에 앉아가지고 2시간 동안 대사님한테 엄청 혼났습니다. 저는 그렇게까지 할 줄은 몰랐는데 솔직히 불러놓고 그냥 2시간 동안 사실 반 협박을 하시더라고요. 그래서 사실 이제 그게 한 번은 되지만 2번, 3번은 그렇게 가는 거 좋지 않으리라고 생각이 들고요. 제가 염려되는 말씀은 오늘 이분들은 사실 이제 우리에게 좋은 의도로 좋은 설명을 해서 방법을 찾자고 얘기해 오신 거예요. 그래서 그런 부분도 하나 우리가 좀 생각을 하셨으면 좋겠고 이 나라 법과 절차나 제도가 문제가 있는 부분을 지금 얘기한다고 해서 바꿀 수 있는 건 아닙니다. 그래서 제가 말씀이 길었는데 딱 하나 요점은 이렇게 생각하셨으면 좋겠어요. 필리핀의 법과 기준이 중간에 이렇게 있습니다. 그러면 이거에 대해서 외국인으로서 허용이 되는 부분 이런 건 해도 되고 이런 건 안 된다. 중요한 거. 즉 워킹 비자를 가지고 있어도 하나의 회사에 하나의 포지션밖에 안 되는 겁니다. 즉 제가 회사가 다른 회사가 또 있어서 거기 가서 일하는 건 안 되는 겁니다. 기준은 그렇습니다. 그러면 어떻게 할 거지? 그래서 원칙은 이런데 기준은 이런 정도 기준에 허용되는 범위가 있겠죠. 근데 실제 우리 하나님들은 우리 교민들은 필리핀에서 이 정도로 많은 지금 이제 차이가 있을 겁니다. 그러면 결국은 우리가 이런 시간을 갖는 목적은 지금 현재 이민법상 불법이라고 얘기하는 부분과 우리가 하고 있는 우리의 삶을 이렇게 적법과 불법이 어느 정도 차이가 있는지를 스스로 좀 깨닫고 이런 부분을 바꿀 수 있는 노력을 해보는 게 오늘의 목적이라고 생각을 해요. 그러면 그 기준이 대사관의 도움을 요청을 해서 이 나라 정부가 바뀔 수 있는 어떤 아까 말씀하셨던 원스톱샵이라든가 또는 이런 부분을 통해서 또는 협력을 하시는 분들도 좀 어떤 기회가 될 수 있도록 이렇게 그 비자를 받고 합법적으로 이 나라에서 사용할 수 있는 이런 기회를 만들 수 있도록 그런 거는 이제 계속 노력을 해야 될 것 같고요. 또 안 그러면 우리가 어느까지는 어느 정도 편법이 어느 정도 있는지 이런 부분이라도 좀 지금 이번 시간에 다 할 수는 없겠지만 그런 걸 이런 과정을 통해서 계속 교민들이 서로 논의하고 해야 될 거라고 생각이 듭니다. 제가 오늘 지금은 일단 이렇게 말씀을 마치고요. 이 인텔리전트 칩, 제가 잘했습니다. 인텔리전트 칩 우리가 많은 시간마다 초청을 하는데 저분한테 아까 부탁을 드렸어요. 일단 그 한인들한테 우리 또 진짜 어려운 당하신 분들 여기 오셨네요. 근데 한인들한테 딱 그렇게 인텔리전트 칩 직원들이 나왔을 때 저도 생각을 해봤어요. 만약에 저한테 이제 와서 같이 가자고 하는데 어떻게 해야 되나? 이거 나 몰라 뭐 해야 되나? 되게 한국 사람 오시면서 오셨습니까? 수고하십니다. 예, 제 세월이 여기 있습니다. 보시고 제가 뭘 또 해드릴까? 이렇게 하시는 건 없죠. 다 인상 확 쓰러집니다. 누가 시켰어? 맞아요. 다 그러시잖아요. 사실. 이제 그렇게 됐을 때 이 사람들이 할 수 있는 즉 이분들뿐만 아니라 경찰들은 더 심합니다. 사실은. 이제 그런 부분을 제가 말씀드리기보다도 부탁드렸어요. 어떻게 우리가 민청에서 만약에 이런 요청을 할 때 어떻게 우리가 대응을 하는 것이 가장 좋은 방법인지 그리고 저 이민처럼 인터넷에서 일단 정 제보를 가지고 수사를 하러 와서 이렇게 부인을 하려고 그럴 때 어떻게 우리가 할 수 있는지 이런 부분을 한번 들어보고 또 질문하실 저 내용하셨다가 여기까지 강의가 끝나면 같이 질문하고 대답하는 시간을 갖도록 하겠습니다. 네, 그러시면 괜찮겠죠? 네. 그러면 다음 넘어가도록 하겠습니다.